Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. So today we continue to study about the Eightfold Paths, the third one, the reactions. We have discussed about no killing in these reactions, and the next topic we are going to talk is the no stealing one. And last time we discussed briefly about why, as a dignity person, we not supposed to take other people's properties without their permissions or their knowledge. So again, this is the universal value that every tradition on earth recognize us. And for the common law, if someone try to take away other people's properties without permission or knowledge, definitely they may be locked up in jail because they would not be welcome or accepted in the human society. So that's why 1,000 years ago, the Buddha laid out this kind of morality for Buddhist people to follow, especially for the one who make the vows to practice the Bodhisattva paths or Bodhisattva precepts, that they need to respect all people's rights, not to take things without permission, without the owner knowledge. So in that particular sutra, the Bambanes Sutra, that describes the moralities for the one that practice Bodhisattva path or conduct. So in this passage, the Buddha spelled out clearly that a disciple of the Buddha must not steal himself or encourage other people to steal by experience means, steal by means of incantation or deviant mantras. He should not create the causes, conditions, methods, or karma to steal. So here the Buddha spelled out clearly that as a disciple or the followers of Buddhas, we're not supposed to steal any things from other people. So of course, there many different types of stealings. So anything that not belong to us, anything that is not given to us, if we take away from those items, if they have the values, we commit this offense. So there's many ways that the stealing karma may be constituted. So the person is stealing often. That means, let's say, if we forget to put a laptop, a cell phone, or anything valuable on the table, and we walk away, and other people, they step up and take away those items from us. That is stealing often. And so again, if we are honest person, we would not take anything that belong to others. And stealing in many different ways that people take other people properties, things without the owner knowledge. They may break in the house to steal. They may break in the cars to steal. Even some robber, they would not care much, so they break in the bank to steal or to rob the bank. But of course, there's all kind of alarm system or even security guards, the banks, and it's not easy for them to rob the bank. But let me share with you a video clips that illustrate my points. So here, an off-duty officers shoot a bank robbery suspect.
Side, the off-duty officer who may have saved a life during a bank robbery says he was given a surprising message.
Now, he shot a man accused of trying to hold up a Coleraine Township bank. 9 on your side's Tom McKee is live with more. Tom.
Well, on May 22nd, Carl Rauschenberger came here to this Key Bank branch on Springdale Road to do some personal banking. Well, he got caught up in the middle of 2 men trying to rob the place, but his police training quickly kicked into action. The Mount St. Joseph University officer got involved in a gun battle, chased the pair away, but then reportedly was called out by Key Bank. Newly released video shows it all. Would-be robber Malcolm Jones lets cohort Nelson Jones into Key Bank, but he doesn't know that Mount St. Joseph police officer Carl Rauschenberger is right behind him with his gun out. As Malcolm Jones waves his gun into the air and parades through the lobby, the officer takes a tactical position. He orders Malcolm to the ground, but Jones draws a weapon and engages the officer in a battle. Jones is hit, but manages to get up and flee the bank with the officer in close pursuit.
He just showed a remarkable sense of bravery. And that
What happened next stunned Hamilton County Prosecutor Joe Dieters. He says Officer Rauschenberger was told to take his banking business elsewhere because he violated Key Bank policy of giving robbers what they want.
he deserves a great deal of gratitude from this community, and Key Bank should be ashamed of themselves.
Dieters wondered aloud what would have happened if the officer had not been there.
We've had multiple robberies where the clerk is laid on the floor or teller is laid on the floor and is executed.
Mount St. Joseph Police Chief Jack Kraft issued a statement commending his officer. He is an asset to our department and is committed to the safety and security.
Anyway, so this story illustrates how some robbers try to break into the bank to rob the banks, but of course, fortunately, there was an off-duty officer could stop that type of robbery. So again, if we don't respect other people's properties, possessions, definitely we may endanger our lives and others. So that's why the Buddha reminds us that whichever thing that belong to others, we're not supposed to take. And the next thing is that some people, if they don't steal in open air, they may steal at night. They may steal midnight. They may steal when the owners are not at home. They may steal all people, cars, and so forth. So that type of stealing, again, is go against the Buddha teachings that whether the items in front of us or the items maybe hide from us, we're not supposed to take. anything does not belong to us. So of course, there's some criminals out there. They try to wait for the right moment to take away other people's properties, and soon later they have to pay for the price if they break in at night out of the house, if they break in out of cars, and so forth. Even if they smart to hack other people's computers to get the social security number, the driver license, credit card number, and so forth, and that's commit to crimes too. So there's all kind of crimes that relate to the student, especially there's some type of student that relate to fraud. For example, this is all kind of fraud that happening almost every day, especially during this time of the year. The coronavirus is still spreading. There's some type of fraud that relate to this kind of pandemics that the common people. Thus, we need to be careful. Let me share with you one video clips that relate to that topic, coronavirus fraud warning.
Emergency about scams, and here's Pierre Thomas.
Tonight, a stark warning from the FBI as thousands of American consumers say they've been the target of COVID-19 scams. The FTC reporting today more than 15,000 complaints, nearly doubling the number recorded last week. Almost $12 million in losses and counting. The FBI making arrest after arrest, including Keith Middlebrook.
I've created the cure for COVID-19, COVID-19, the coronavirus. This is it right here.
There is no cure, and Middlebrook has been arrested and charged with attempted wire fraud, accused of advertising a false claim to lure investors.
This influenza.
And tonight, the state of Missouri is suing televangelist Jim Bakker after his TV show promoted a silver solution cure for COVID-19, a potion in a bottle that you could buy for $80. Bakker's company says it was his guests who touted the product, but they have stopped offering it. The litigation is pending. And then there are those suspect robocalls.
We can qualify you to get a free diabetic monitor and a complimentary testing kit for coronavirus.
And websites promising to deliver a coronavirus vaccine for a fee when no such vaccine exists. David, folks at home should ignore online offers for cures, vaccinations, and home test kits. Some of this stuff can be truly dangerous. David, thank you.
So here we can see that some criminals out there, they take the advantage of the coronavirus pandemic to scam other people by selling some products that promise to get you of the coronavirus or to have the vaccination or even the test kit and so forth. So that's why we need to be careful. Things that's going on nowadays. So for an honest person, this person would not do those things. Only for the one that try to scam other people money, so they gives all kind of ways, or they find all kind of ways to scam, to take other people monies, especially for the elderly people. They have been the targets of those scams because they may not have much technology skill, for example, computer, software, and so forth. So that's why it's easy for those scammers to scam on the elderly people. Yeah. And there's all kind of scam or fraud that we need to address, recognize, even what they call the tax evasion. That's just one form of fraud too. That means if we have intention to file income tax wrongly, improperly, we may have problems with the IRS. And so that's why we need to be careful and be honest of things that the law allows us to do ourselves. So the next video I'd like to share with you is the scam. One of the most scams in history is the Benny Maddox.
70 years old, arrested by the FBI. The FBI arrested him this morning after he told senior employees yesterday that his business was a giant Ponzi scheme. He tried to distribute early bonuses to employees of his firms, prompting questions by senior employees. Mr. Madoff allegedly told employees who had a couple of $100 million left, wanted to distribute it before turning himself in to authorities.
Wall Street veteran Bernard Madoff has been arrested and charged with running a $50 billion Ponzi scheme. This is one of the biggest fraud cases ever. Madoff runs Bernard Madoff Investment Securities, which he founded back in the 1960s. He also happens to be a former chairman of the NASDAQ stock market. Prosecutors claim that he lost some investors' money on bad trades. Then he tried to hide it all by replacing some of that with cash from new investors who were coming in. Apparently, the scheme unraveled last week when clients asked for about $7 billion in redemptions, and Madoff couldn't cover the requests.
Any idea how long this has been going on?
It's a key question, and investigators have been in there for about a week. At this point, I'm not sure they have any idea. All we really have is what Madoff told his two sons a week ago about the fraud, and yet many people are starting to believe it may have been from the very beginning.
Yeah, and how can he pull this off by himself?
It seems almost impossible.
This, everything in here was made up now.
Everything.
Everything.
Nothing. Not a single line.
No.
All fake.
All fake. A novel.
A novel. Your statement's a novel.
Yes. Unfortunately. December 11th, the same day he turned himself in, we had sent in a check to buy a condo in an active retirement community, and then the news broke. Now we're worrying about having to pay the bills from never thinking twice about if we wanted something, we could get it.
My family members are in dire straits. My aunt and uncle in South Florida are in their 80s. They're quite ill. They have been turned down for food stamps because their Social Security is too high.
We no longer spend any discretionary expenses. That's gone. But the bills keep coming in. And now we have to sell our apartment in this market.
I have no income coming in. I've had to move in with a parent. My apartment is up for sale in Florida, and 52 years old to have to move back in with a parent.
He is 70 years old. He will plead guilty to 11 criminal counts and almost certainly spend the rest of his life in prison. And there goes Bernie Madoff.
Disgraced money manager Bernard Madoff behind bars at this hour after pleading guilty to a massive Ponzi scheme. After saying he was deeply sorry and ashamed, Madoff pleaded guilty to 11 charges that could send the 70-year-old to, prison for 150 years.
So here you see this one of the most famous scam what they call Ponzi scam. They scam people for more than $50 billion, not million but billions. So many of his investors lost their house, lost their retirement fund, and so forth. So he has to pay for the price to stay in the jail for 150 years. Yeah, definitely he would spend there for the rest of his life. So this kind of scam that's so massive that affect to many people. So again, with the honesty, we would not engage in this type of scam at all. But for people, if they greedy for money, definitely they will give some excuse, or they may have some device, make some ways to scam other people properties or monies, especially nowadays because of coronavirus. Many people stay home or work from home, and of course, once in a while, you may see some phishing email that try to get our credit card numbers, social security number, or any personal information, so that they can hack into our bank account and so forth to take our money. So that's why we need to be careful of those people, especially if we may suspect any strange email. We not supposed to click on. Even they sometimes they trick us to put the email from the bank that we used to go to, for example, the Chase Bank, Bank, and so forth. But we need to be careful before we click to see whether that's from authentic one or not. So again, that is life. Life has two sides of the coin: the good side and the bad side. The good side, yes, we have many compassionate people, honest people. The bad side is that we have some criminals that try to scam people out of their money, and like they discussed recently, some people try to have tax evasion. That means they try some ways not to pay tax. And of course, according to the law, as a citizen, if we work in, we need to contribute to our society in the means of paying the tax, the personal income tax, or business tax, unless we are allowed by the law as non-profit organization, like the churches or the temples or monastery. According to law, we tax exempt. So in any way, if we follow the law, we would not worry much. But if we step over the boundary, definitely we would encounter the problem sooner or later, especially for the tax evasion. And we know that if someone get involved with that kind of tax evasion, or if they don't pay tax, definitely they would go into trouble with the authorities sooner or later. And let me show you another video clips that relate to the prosecutor reviews President Trump. He could face a tax fraud charge soon later. Is in September of this year. So, law in the district of New York, they investigate about so they have notice public relations.
Did the president or his company ever inflate assets or revenue?
Yes.
And was that done with the president's knowledge or direction?
Everything was done with the knowledge and at the direction of Mr. Trump.
In this country, no one is above the law, even the president. So if they don't follow the law, if they evade the tax, the system, again, sooner or later, you have to pay for the price. So that's why as a citizen, we need to fulfill our responsibility as well as to share our fortune with other people, especially for the poor people. They may need our support. Of course, due to the food stamp system, due to the social security system, pension, and so forth, people could survive day by day. And so again, as long as we're still working, we need to pay our due to fulfill our responsibility as the citizen. And if we don't fulfill that kind of responsibility, and if we evade goes against that kind of system of the laws, then sooner or later we have to pay for the price. And of course, if we run business, if we work for other people, it's better whether we pay our people by cash or by check. As owners, we need to fill out, pay everything according to the laws, I mean that the tax. Or if we are employees, whether we receive cash or check, we need to file income tax properly, so that we would pay our due, means that our tax. So no matter what, if we fulfill our responsibility, we would not concern much. And as long as we follow the laws of the country, we feel more peace. We would not have any worriness about things. But if we evade or go against the law, sooner or later we have to pay for the price. So like you say, accept the non-profit organizations, like the churches, the temples, and so forth. We serve communities according to the law of this country. We tax exempt. We're not supposed to pay tax for our properties, for our cars, whichever, because we are here to serve the communities. And there is blessings that we have in this country. But no matter what, we're not supposed to take advantage on this system for our own benefit. So again, we need to be careful about things we're doing, but as much as we fulfill our responsibility, nothing will to concern. We will have a peace of mind in our life. That's why here the Buddha said that we need to stay away from those things. We need to recognize these are the common sense that we not supposed to steal other people's properties, not to steal the public fund, any properties, any possessions that not belong to us. So of course we need to steal something that have the value. We're not supposed to steal by force, by oppressing other people, and so forth. And on the top of that, we're not supposed to keep something that will interest on us that we borrow from other people. For example, if someone trusts us to keep their valuable things like the watch, gold, and so forth, and we're supposed to give them back when they come back. Or if we borrow something from others, we're supposed to pay back. Of course, in this country, we can file bankruptcy as according to the law. If we could not pay the credit cards or loan, especially for the student, they may be forgiven the student loan again. As much as we do things that are allowed by the law, that's fine. But if we use some scam to take audible money, to take the money from the public fund, to evade tax and so forth, that's a form of stealing. And what happened now, the US election is still moving, and somehow we have not recognized any new president yet. So there's all kind of rumors about the election fraud. So let me share with you one video clips about this kind of problem that's happened now.
From Rick Grinnell from the Trump campaign, former director of national intelligence, former ambassador of widespread voter fraud, speaking specifically to your area. How would you respond to that?
There is absolutely no merit to any claims of widespread voter fraud in Arizona. There's no evidence to back it up, and it is not something that we have experienced here.
Has one Arizonan, even one, complained to the Secretary of State's office or anyone else about voter fraud?
We're actually being flooded with calls and emails right now, and I haven't had a chance to look at all of them. I'm sure there are some. Yeah, to my knowledge, we don't have any specific reports of anything specific.
You have monitors at all of your polling locations, correct?
They're allowed. It's up to the county parties to send them, and so I don't know that they were at every single one, but they're absolutely allowed.
But your poll workers would report such things if they were complained to about them, correct?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Poll workers, their job is to maintain the integrity of the election at each polling site. They're such an important part of the process, and they are employees who are hired by the counties, and they're required to uphold the laws in terms of elections.
There are accusations that people were allowed to vote after the polls closed. Was there one vote cast after the polls closed in your state?
If somebody is in line at the time that the polls close, if they're waiting to vote, and polls close at 7 p.m., they are allowed to stay in line and cast their ballot if they're in line when the polls close. I can't confirm that that did or didn't happen because I don't know, but it is allowed under law, and that's the case in most states.
You've made these appearances on television quite frequently. I personally, as a matter of opinion here, think that's probably a good thing for the people to hear, clarity from those in charge. Ms. Hobbs, what is it like to hear this from the President of the United States about the work that you do?
You know, honestly, as an election official, it's really frustrating, and it makes our job harder. Secretaries of state and other election officials have a responsibility to ensure the integrity of our elections, and not only do that, but maintain the public's trust and confidence in the systems and in this important democratic institution. And it makes our job so much harder when people like the president are saying, who don't even know anything about how these processes work, and is frankly just making things up, and people believe him. And so it just makes our job that much harder.
Katie Hobbs, thank you for your time, your diligence, and your late count. When do you believe that the count for the day and then in totality may be completed? Is it possible to estimate such a thing?
Yes, so Maricopa County is obviously where the bulk of the outstanding ballots are, around 300,000 left for the state, or for Maricopa County. They are updating their vote totals every day at 7 p.m. Arizona time. So we'll see that in a couple hours. And then they said they're going to do that every day until they're done. They told us today that they expect to get through the bulk of those ballots this weekend.
Katie Hobbs, all the best to you and your people working so hard. We thank you.
Okay, here, the Secretary of State of Arizona clarify how the voting system work and how they count the votes of the people in that state, and even President Trump and other people claim that is some kind of election fraud, but still, of course, everyone is supposed to follow the laws of the elections, and if someone evade or violate that kind of laws, they are in big trouble. So again, with the claims of the election of vote fraud, they have to have the evidence in this country. Whichever thing we say, we have to show the evidence. Otherwise, with the claims alone, there's no value on that. So if someone again go against the law, they may put in jail if they have the vote fraud. This is many cases that we can recognize. So as a citizen in this country, we trust the democracy and the law that have been laid out by constitutions, by our founders. And so whoever evade the laws, they will be put in jail. That's all. So again, let me show you another video clips that illustrate how some people violate the voting system, and they pay for the price to stay in the jail.
Election. As Omar Villafranca reports, the woman used her real name and identification, but her criminal past made voting a crime.
And she said, put your hands behind your back, you have a warrant for your arrest.
Crystal Mason still remembers the day she was arrested for voting in the last presidential election.
My mom kept nagging, go vote, go vote, go vote, go vote. And I was just like, okay. I did what she said. I went to go vote.
The 43-year-old was on supervised release for tax fraud when she cast her ballot. In Texas, that's against the law. Do you feel that since you served your time and you are out of prison, that you should be able to go and cast?
Well, we should. We pay taxes, and that's what I believed. So if I had a doubt in any way, I wouldn't have did it.
Here, felons can't vote until they have completed their full sentence. Now, Mason faces 5 years in state prison for voter fraud, and today was given 10 months in federal prison for violating the terms of her supervised release. Are you mentally ready for that?
Not at all. I'm not ready.
Nationwide, an estimated 6.1 million felons are restricted from voting. Nearly 500,000 of them are in Texas. In 13 states, felons lose the right to vote indefinitely.
People indeed in the American democracy are being punished for voting.
University of Minnesota criminologist Chris Eugen co-wrote the book on felony voting laws, which date back to the 1870s.
The United States is perhaps among the very few nations that disenfranchise everybody for committing a felony level crime.
Eugen says these laws are meant to be more of a moral punishment than a legal one. Now, Florida has a ban that could be overturned on a ballot measure this November, and if that's the case, more than 1 million people could get their voting rights back. As for Chris,
okay, here, this one lady, she was put in prison because of the voting fraud due to her 7 times in prison. And so in Texas, as a felon, she's not supposed to vote, but she did. That's why she spent 10 more months in the federal prison. So again, especially in this kind of serious elections, presidential elections, we need to fulfill our responsibility as a citizen to go to vote. But if we don't pay attention on the law, we may run into troubles with the authorities. So again, no matter what happens, we need to be truthful and be honest to ourselves. And so in that case, in the case of voting, yes, it would not harm anyone else directly, but because we fulfill our responsibility as a citizen to vote for president, vice president, senators, congressmen, and so forth, that represent our people. So if we don't follow the laws, and this become a fraud, and of course we have to pay for that price. So even we don't steal anything from others, but still it affect to the whole nations. Even we have only 1 vote, and of course it may affect to other people with that 1 vote too. And in some cases that people vote twice or 3 times, again, that is go against the law, and they have to pay for the price in the prison. So in general, so if we be honest, we would not encounter this kind of problems. If we respect all people's properties and possessions, we would not break this kind of karma. And so not only steal other people's properties, what we know now, what they call the intellectual properties. That means we're not supposed to take other people's inventions something that are not allowed. For example, if we use some ways to hack into other people's computers, we use some ways that run to the software of big companies like Microsoft and so forth without paying the service. Again, this is type of student. Well, since time up, I'd like to stop here today. So next time we will discuss further about this topic. Namo Shakyamuni Buddha. And see you then.